morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Making the Most. So, we in this series presented by Maryland SNAP Ed are talking about making the most of the foods that are coming into your home. Our initial focus was for foods that were coming in through school meal distribution, and we're going to continue talking about that and continue promoting the opportunity for folks to get free school meals regardless of income eligibility for any student 2 to 18, regardless of enrollment in the school district. Any student can pick up a school meal from their school district in the state of Maryland. So that's one resource we're going to continue to promote and talk about ways to use those leftovers in your cooking. But we've also expanded to talk about foods, pantry foods. So staple foods that are inexpensive and shelf stable, last a long time in your pantry. You might have them in your pantry already. You might be buying them at the store. You may have stocked up last year when we were all panic shopping, or you might be accessing those through food pantries in your community. There are lots of reasons right now why families are struggling, and we really want to promote the availability of food access in your community and let folks know, even if you've never even thought about having to accept foods from a food pantry before, do not be shy. That's why these resources are here. This is a hard time for everyone in the country. So I'm joined by two guests today who are going to showcase our feature ingredient for today, which is rice, and some ways that you can use rice in your cooking. And our recipe is also going to feature some veggies that might be coming into your home through school meals. So first, I'd like to introduce Kara LeClaire. So Kara, if you would pop in on your camera. And welcome. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about school meals in Calvert County. Kara's our SNAP Ed educator in Calvert County, and also about some of the other community food resources that are available in Calvert County, Maryland. And actually, before you start, I forgot to make my standard request is if you are joining us, please post in the chat where you're joining us from, county if you're in Maryland, or if you're from further afield, city and state. And post your questions and comments throughout. We'll be stopping to address them. So sorry to interrupt your start, Kara. Let's hear about school meals and other community food resources in Calvert County, Maryland.
Absolutely. So Calvert County School Nutrition has 5 different sites that they're distributing grab-and-go kits from. Those sites will be listed in the comments below. Pickup is usually on Fridays between 11 and 12, but due to the inclement weather we have going out, and they were moved to Wednesday, so it won't be distributed this Friday. In the kits, there are 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 7 snacks that are included. And just to repeat what Krista said, these are for anyone 2 to 18 in the county, so all children are welcome to the meals. And also we have some really great food pantries available in Calvert County. In the kind of central northern area, we have our SNAP Ed partner, which is Chesapeake Cares Food Pantry. And then in southern Calvert County, there's Smile Food Pantry in Lusby. And the details about pickup availability for those pantries is also available in the comments.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, and I like to mention this every time, but the value of those school meals, if you would think of purchasing those at full price, there would be about $3 a meal. It varies per county. But if you're getting 2 or 3 meals a day, set up to 7 days a week, that's a significant amount of cash that's left in families' pockets that they can spend on other healthy foods and help to stretch their budget. And then, of course, if you need to access a food pantry, that's a tremendous help and can free up that money for other vital resources in your life. So we have another guest with us today. We have Mark Thompson from Wicomico County, Maryland. Mark is the director of Adopt-A-Block, and we're going to have him share a little about his work with Adopt-A-Block to feed families in Wicomico County. So welcome, Mark.
Welcome. Thank you, Krista, for having us on. We're really delighted to be here today. This is really important for us. I am the director for what's called the Adopt-A-Block outreach program here at Emmanuel in Salisbury, Maryland. And for the past 7 years, we go out every second and fourth Saturday of the month delivering cases and massive foods. Just to put in perspective, from last March to October, we delivered over 98 tons of food. But what I'm really excited about today, we have received a grant from the Wicomico Partnerships for Families and Children to provide mobile meals to about 7 to 8 identified schools. And what we do is provide meals for the weekends for students who may be identified as food insecure. And then what we also like to do is provide what we're doing today, these healthy food options and trainings, because some of the foods that we deliver are some of the things that you're going to see today. So we want to send this out to all of our schools and show them how they can cook at home doing this school's virtual training.
Wonderful. So thanks so much for sharing that. And thank you for the work that you've been doing. It's just so critical right now. And so we've posted some information about the Adopt a Block program in our chat. If anybody's in Montgomery County, we do highlight resources in different counties in Maryland. So if you're in a different county and you need some help accessing resources in your community, look up information on your particular county resources. Is going to be different in every county. And at the end of the presentation, we do have a slide, email address where you can reach SNAP-Ed so we can help you if you're having trouble locating resources in your family. So thanks to everyone who's joining us and for introducing yourself. Again, if you are just joining us, want to introduce yourself, put your location. We'd love to know where you're joining us from, and any questions and comments we'll try to address throughout. So Mark, can you have some friends with you there today?
Oh, yes, we have 2 people from the Judy Center. We have Michelle Twilley and Brooke Farmer and their children. And they represent also Wicomico County Public Schools. They're going to show how we can cook live right here with you. So right now I'm going to step aside and introduce Brooke and Michelle.
Hi, good morning. My name is Brooke. I'm the Family Service Coordinator with the Judy Center at Pemberton Elementary School. We serve approximately 100 families once a month for a large food distribution at Pemberton Elementary. And this is my daughter, Callie, here to help.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi, Callie.
Hi, I'm Michelle Twilley, Family Service Coordinator for the Judy Center at Beaver Run. And we do a distribution here and there, but we have an emergency food pantry located right at the school for any family that calls and needs that extra support. So we are a great resource for that as well. This is my son, Blake, and we're really excited to be here.
Hi, welcome. So thank you guys for the work you're doing. Judy Centers across Maryland are very important SNAP-Ed partners. We work with Judy Centers to provide nutrition education and help create healthy environments for families of young children who are, the kids are attending school or families are attending workshops at the Judy Center. So thank you guys for representing. And as Mark mentioned, we are attempting a first on the Make the Most series, and we are going to have a live cook-along session. So we're going to let Kara lead the way. She's going to be our chef. But as she is cooking, Michelle and Blake and Brooke and Kaylee will be cooking along from Wicomico County, and we'll this is the first person. There we go. So, all right, we're going to have our chefs switch on their cooking cameras, and I'm going to let Kara take it from here.
All right, so I will start by introducing the ingredients that we're working with today. So our superstar, of course, is our brown rice, which I've already got cooked up. We have a variety of vegetables. So I just have some peas that were frozen, some kale, carrots. I had some orange bell pepper, so I'm throwing that in there as well. We have some onion, garlic, ginger, some cayenne pepper if you want a little extra spice to it, and then some soy sauce.
So this recipe is really flexible. We'll put the recipe in the chat. How the recipe is written is it just says, I think it says 4 cups of vegetables. I forget the exact quantity, but you can really swap in what you have. And I know peas are something that we have seen coming in school meals. Baby carrots could be used in this. So that's wonderful. And so I'd love for our cooking team in Wicomico County to share what vegetables they're going to be using in their preparation of the recipe. So we're going to have sort of 2 different versions going.
So we are actually using a frozen mixed blend. It's an Asian style stir fry. And that is what we were able to get a hold of. So that's what we're going to use today.
Wonderful. See, so this is again, use what you have, and we're using fresh in Kara's preparation and frozen in the the preparation that the team's doing in Wicomico County, and that's something else that we emphasize, that all forms count. Get those veggies in however you can. So Blake and Callie, would you guys mind sharing what's your favorite vegetable?
Green beans.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was that?
Green beans.
String beans. All right. Wonderful. And Blake, how about you?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. That's a good one. You know what? Broccoli is one of my favorites too. And one of my favorite things about it is that it's, those florets as they cook in something saucy like the stir fries, they really soak up that flavor. So that's a great one. But string beans are good as well. So, all right, Kara, let's get going. And you guys.
All right, so I've got my pan heating up already. I just added 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to it. And I already went ahead and chopped up my onion just to make it a little easier. But if you're cooking along, feel free to do that now. We're just gonna give those a couple minutes to start to soften up a little bit. You might see them change color a little bit. If you have some little helpers at home who want to be involved in the kitchen, but they're not quite ready to use a knife yet, what they can do is help by peeling the skin off of the onion. I always really enjoyed doing that when I was a kid. It always felt so funny to me. It's like paper on the outside. And while our onion is starting to cook, we're gonna get our garlic and ginger ready to add next. So our garlic, this is another fun way that our little ones can help in the kitchen. Again, we have to remove that outside paper. So a fun way to do that is have them use their muscle or strength to bust it out of the shell. So you just wanna use the palm of your hand and have them push really hard. And that will kind of smash the garlic. And then you can easily just remove it from the outside and chop it from there. So I already went ahead and chopped some of mine up. The recipe calls for 2 cloves of fresh. You could also substitute that for 1/8 of a teaspoon of powdered garlic per clove. So that would be about 1/4 teaspoon for the whole recipe. Again, this is a really flexible recipe, so if you're a garlic lover like me, you can add more. I think, to be honest, I had about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic in there.
And if you have pre-chopped garlic in a that you keep in the fridge, sometimes that's how people buy it. You can use that as well. And if you don't like garlic, you can leave it out.
Exactly, yes. And then our other ingredient, so this is kind of a fun one, is the recipe calls for 1 inch of fresh ginger, peeled and grated, or 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. So usually I use the ground ginger just because it's so quick and easy and it adds really good flavor, but it can also be fun to use the fresh. So for this, either an adult or a child that can use a peeler would just go ahead and peel the outside skin off of the ginger. And then you would just go ahead and chop up that middle part and add it. It kind of is like stringy or fibrous, so it's a little rough to cut. And I was thinking about this too, Krista. Another thing I love to do if I have leftover fresh ginger, because I usually don't use the whole thing, is I'll boil some water and make like a little tea with my ginger. So there's, other uses for it.
This time of year, that's a great thing. It feels very therapeutic for when you're feeling under the weather, a little ginger.
Absolutely. And this is the chopped up ginger. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that now.
So my team in Wicomico, were you using fresh ginger or did you go for powdered ground ginger?
So we actually skipped the ginger and we're doing extra garlic.
I love the way you think. Looking good. I love seeing.
It smells
kids at the
great.
stove. Isn't it amazing how sauteing little garlic and onions, you're instantly a gourmet chef.
Right.
So the next thing, I'm going to start adding vegetables. So our friends in Wicomico, if your onions are getting soft and ready, since you're using frozen vegetables, this would be a good time to add yours. So you want to start with your vegetables that are going to take the longest to cook first. So I have some orange bell pepper. I just had it in my fridge and wanted to use it up for today. So I'm gonna add that before I add my other vegetables and give it just an extra minute to soften up.
One of our viewers just said they wish they had smell-o-vision.
It
smells so good.
I wish everyone could smell this. I'm already getting hungry.
One of our viewers also commented that this would be a great use for leftovers. So we emphasize using fresh or frozen, but if you had leftovers from a previous meal where you had some broccoli with your meal, you could throw that in as well. I think that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the next thing I'm going to add is my peas. So these were frozen. I love keeping frozen peas on hand for things like this. You can thaw it out in the fridge the night before, or you can add them frozen. It just depends on when you add them into the cooking process to make sure they have enough time to thaw out.
And I just want to remind everyone that is joining us on live to keep posting comments and questions in the chat. And if you're joining late and want to introduce yourself, please just let us know where you're joining us from.
Another thing too that's great about this is that if you have younger kids at home that maybe are a little bit of a picky eater, this can be a great way to get them excited about a meal, is if you let them pick out the vegetables that you're adding. They're gonna feel like they have a little bit of pride or ownership over getting to help out and make a decision about what's for dinner that night.
Yeah. Also, it's the colorfulness helps to create appeal, and we're seeing that both in your version as well as the version that we've got going in Wicomico County there. Nice selection of colors.
So the next thing that I'm going to add is going to be my carrots. So again, I just had full-size carrots on hand. If you are using leftovers from a school meal, baby carrots chop up really well. You just want to make them into small pieces so that they would cook up nicely. But I have been really loving doing carrot ribbons lately. So again, this is a good task for a child that can use a peeler. And all I did was wash and peel the outside layer and chop off the ends, and then just make ribbons out of the whole carrot as far as you can go. If you have more than one kid, you can also make it a contest, see who can peel their carrot the fastest, safely, of course. So I'm just gonna peel it all like that. I have some ready to go. This is probably, I think it was about 3 carrots worth. So I'm just gonna add that. And the ribbons are nice because they cook really fast too.
For viewers, I have a question. What are your favorite veggies to put in stir fry? So post that in the chat.
Smells good. Really good.
And the carrots, the ribbons, they're going to cook faster. Now, if you did carrot, chopped up carrots, carrot coins, you might want to add those a little earlier, like when you added in the bell pepper.
Absolutely.
Jessica shares she likes to add some frozen edamame to add some protein. You can also add other forms of protein, leftover chicken, fish. It's a great way to add, or other kinds of beans that would add some protein.
So I'm gonna go ahead and add my cayenne. I don't know if our friends in Wicomico are adding any additional heat or spices. Awesome.
Yeah. Folks offering they love red pepper, sugar snap peas, broccoli and snap peas, cabbage. Oh, I love cabbage in stir fry. I think cabbage is an underappreciated vegetable.
I totally agree with you.
Snap peas and water chestnuts. Thanks, Sierra. I haven't had a water chestnut in a while.
So I'm gonna go ahead and add my last vegetable, which is my kale. So this is, again, another great way for little hands to help out. You don't have to cut your kale or leafy greens with a knife. You can actually just tear them up. So usually I like to pull the stem off the middle. And then I just use my hands to just kind of shred it and then add it into the pot. So that's another great way that our little hands can help in the kitchen.
Any questions?
And to help my greens cook a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add my soy sauce. So I've got low sodium soy sauce. And then I also have a little bit of water just to help my veggies cook down.
Nice. We've got Blake and Callie working together there to get the soy sauce in. And stir fry, we typically think of having these sort of Asian flavors with soy sauce and ginger and garlic, but you can really make it any sort of flavor profile that you want. Stir fry is really just usually vegetables that you stir fry in some oil with whatever seasonings you like. So you could do some cumin or curry powder, really make it match your taste. Well, that looks delicious. We've got all of our ingredients in. So we're going to actually let that cook down for a little while. And folks, if yours is done in Wicomico, you guys can decide when it's ready and just switch it off. But while we're kind of waiting for that to finish up, we're actually going to share a resource that we have specifically about cooking with rice. So rice is a versatile ingredient that we are showing can be served with stir fry. But we've got some other ideas of great things you can do with rice because it is a great pantry staple that's affordable and a lot of us have on hand. So we're going to pull that up here. Give us a second. All right. So Maryland SNAP Ed has a Rice 5 Ways resource that we've been distributing to a lot of our pantry partners. So these are some ideas for ways to serve rice. And, it's emphasizing sort of the general idea. We're going to share some specific recipes, but these are really just to encourage you to be creative, that you don't necessarily need a recipe to use rice in your cooking. The first thing it mentions is casseroles. So casseroles, we typically think, I think of my grandmother's recipe box of index cards of these very specific casseroles, but casseroles are really typically a mix of vegetables and a grain, maybe topped with some cheese, something a little crunchy like breadcrumbs. So you can really construct a casserole from sort of a basic formula. So Kara, what's your, do you have any sort of casserole favorite ideas?
Ooh, so I love doing a broccoli rice casserole. And I think what's so great with rice, I'll cook it up a big batch early on in the week and then use leftover rice in my casseroles later in the week.
That is one of my husband's favorite things to do too, to eat with lunches and whatnot. And so you kind of got something that feels very substantial in your fridge ready to go. Then, the second idea on there is salads. So, we think of salads as being mostly vegetables, but you can really make a main dish from a salad if you combine, your vegetables with a grain like rice, maybe some protein, really kind of just think of it as a my plate salad. So how can you combine all of the different food groups into a single salad? So we'll share a recipe in the chat that does make use of rice. Any favorite things you like to add into your my plate salads, Kara?
I love putting fruit in my salad, especially dried fruit. So like craisins or raisins, which is also super nice because those come in the school meal kits. And I think they just add a lot of extra flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. I love those. And something very common in school meals. The next suggestion is stir fry, which we just highlighted. We talked a little bit about adding proteins to your stir fry. Any favorite ways to add protein to your stir fry, Kara?
So to be honest, I'm probably gonna throw a can of chickpeas in this stir fry after we finish and go ahead and eat that as my lunch.
Excellent. Yeah, chickpeas are delicious and a great way to add protein. Stuffed peppers. This is another one where you just kind of have a basic formula: rice, beans, cheese, so onions and garlic to add flavor. Stuff it in a pepper and bake. And so we are going to share a recipe, but that's there is sort of a basic formula that you can follow that you can learn to cook without necessarily having a recipe. And then the last thing that is on there is rice pudding. And we're actually getting a couple comments about rice pudding in the feed. Somebody talking about using leftover steamed rice from carryout to make rice pudding. This is something I always did as a kid. When I had leftover rice, my mom would put just a little milk over it, maybe a little honey or sugar, just a pinch of brown sugar, little cinnamon, put it in the microwave, and it was delicious. So how about you? Are you a rice pudding fan, Kara?
I am, and I always had raisins in it when I was growing up. My mom would add raisins to it.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you everybody for the comments. I hope I got to most of them. Sierra mentions rice taco casserole. I think that sounds delicious. If you imagine what's in a taco and then you put it into a casserole form, I think you'd be good to go. All right. Thanks to everybody in the comments, and try some of those recipes that we post. All right, well, now that we have had a little bit of time for our chefs to collect themselves, let's see how things ended up. So if my chefs in Wicomico County can share with us, they have plated. Would you mind, I don't know if you can take the camera in a little closer or hold it up. Kara has a serving of hers plated. That's beautiful. Wonderful. Look at the colors and so delicious. And if my folks there can show us, they added in the rice. Oh, looks so good. Blake, do you feel proud of yourself?
So good.
Callie?
Are you guys
Kinda,
proud?
yeah.
Yes.
Well, you should, because this is real food, and I think that would make a delicious lunch, making use of rice and also potentially if there were any leftover veggies from a school meal that could be used in there. So huge compliments to our chefs. You guys were brave. Oh yeah, let's see it on the plate. Ooh, black plate, nice presentation,
yeah.
makes those colors pop. Love it.
That looks really good.
Yeah,
Smells
So
delicious.
pretty.
Yeah.
bravo. Everyone in the chat, let's give a round of virtual applause for chefs in Wicomico and Kara. Yes. All right. You guys got a way to go. Thumbs up. All right. Fantastic. All right. Thanks. I agree, Brenda. It does look delicious. Awesome. All right, folks. Thank you everyone for your participation. While we sign out, I'm going to put up some information here on the screen for you all to see. Here it comes. All right, so this is our schedule for the next couple of weeks. Back here at 11 o'clock, we'll be talking about chili, making chili using canned beans and some other pantry staples. On February 25th, we're going to be making lettuce wraps. So we'll be featuring canned chicken, can also use canned tuna, making tasty lettuce wraps. And then on March 4th, in a sort of late celebration of peanut butter, I think it's National Peanut Butter Day is March 1st. We'll be talking about peanut butter snacktivities. So fun little recipes, healthy snacks that you can make using peanut butter. And these are of course, kid-friendly recipes. So, we've got some requests for recipe sharing in the chat. So I love this. I love seeing the interaction. On our next slide, we're gonna show where you can access information through our social media feeds. You can get to the next slide there. All right, so eatsmart.umd.edu is where you can access recipes that we use in our SnapEd cooking. There's some really wonderful resources there. Facebook, you guys are watching it from Facebook now if you're watching it live. We also, if you're not watching it live but would like to share this, the recording will be in our Facebook feed that you can share it with other folks directly from Facebook after the fact. And then on YouTube, after these the live presentations are done, we do post them on YouTube. So subscribe to our YouTube feed because we have this wonderful series happening, but we also have lots of other visual, video recipes there, as well as nutrition education resources. If you want more information about SNAP Ed, school meals, or food resources in your community, our email address is there, eatsmartmd@gmail.com. So again, thanks to everyone who joined us, participated. Thanks to our chefs here and abroad. Would you guys mind turning your cameras back on just for a quick wave goodbye? Oh, well, there's Kara. I don't know if we still have Mark with us. All right, well, we'll say goodbye to them. I truly can't say enough of how fun it is. There you are. Hi, guys. So thank you so much. Thanks for your participation. And please join us back here next week at 11 o'clock on our Facebook feed for another exciting Making the Most of the foods in your pantry and in your home. All right, bye-bye. See you next week.
Thank you.